What I'm about to share with you changed my entire life. What I'm about to share with you took me from food stamps to a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur. What I'm about to share with you took me from 250-pound overweight kid to 185 pounds lean. What I'm about to share with you took me about dreaming about the dream to living it. A transformation like this, I believe down to my core, is within reach for anyone, no matter where you're at in life right now and where you want to be. I say that because the biggest ingredient to my turnaround is completely accessible to everyone, and I mean everyone. You're using it right now, and it's your operating system. No, not that operating system you think you're talking about. Not iOS, not Android, not Windows, none of that. It's this one right here, the most important one, which is the operating system of your entire being. One of the thought leaders within the space right now in this regard is Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm going to specifically share with you how the particular mental frameworks and things that I learned across my journey have impacted me, and let me show you kind of a little bit where I was prior to. I conditioned my mind to be able to allow these things to manifest. So here we are, got the concept, all kinds of due diligence conducted, know specifically what needs to get done in terms of frame for building the business, knowing specifically what needs to get done with respect to product development, the whole nine. It's not coming. Things are moving at a snail pace, months are going by, years are going by, and finding myself in a similar circular motion with regards to actually seeing tangible results from all of the work and the time that's put in. I'm on a daily basis, don't have the income that allows me to live the life that I want to live. I, took everything and was taking everything that I had and putting it into, continued development for the product, which was ultimately causing me to have to, resort to things like food stamps to be able to maintain my own well-being. The worst part of these struggles for me, it's not like I lacked the information I needed to succeed. The issue was truly mentally, there were patterns of behavior and thoughts and things that my conditioned self reverted back to often in certain circumstances that were not serving the boy. In the moment, because it was comfortable, because that's what I was used to, I would respond in that capacity whenever certain situations would come up, or I would process what I was seeing through that lens. But trust and believe, it was definitely not bringing profits in any capacity. Again, I had all of the information, but I wasn't capable of taking that said information and actually having it manifest into the tangible results I wanted to. You can have the recipe, but how you actually make the meal from that recipe might be completely different from someone else who has that exact same recipe. And that's exactly the frame I'm talking about. But let's go back to the operating system example I mentioned before. You gotta think of yourself, and the best analogy is like a computer, like the actual physical machine itself. The information that you've picked up throughout life, from life experiences to books to courses to parenting to friends, all of that is software that has been integrated into you yourself as a person. Now your mind, that's the operating system that the software runs off of. So all of this information, all of those experiences, everything that you have, all the things that inevitably impact what things show up and how they show up in your life are run through that operating system. My issue was, and I believe this is what's affecting most people who may find themselves in a circular place and or are looking at their current situation and they seem to be stuck in a rut, is that their operating system is not up to date enough to be able to properly run that software to get the output that that software has to give. Perfect example. Imagine trying to run the current version of Adobe on an ancient Windows XP computer and see what happens. And that was happening in my life. I had to upgrade the operating system to allow for the software to run and recondition my mind. The crux of such is by understanding the patterns of your brain and understanding how you're able to institute change within your frame by understanding how your brain operates. My guy Joe breaks this down phenomenally.
Only way you're actually going to reprogram your brain to work in your favor is you got to learn how to regulate your brainwaves. And you know this, of course. Beta brainwave patterns are thinking brainwave patterns. It's the analytical mind. It's our critical facilities. We're in beta right now. We're aware of our bodies. We're aware of the environment. We're aware of time. The neocortex is switched on. It's the seat of the autobiographical self. There's a lot of circuits in there from things you've learned intellectually and things you've experienced in your life. So for the most part, it's a repository of the past, right? And so 90% of those thoughts that we think being the same thoughts as the day before tend to become like automatic programs, and they become more subconscious and more unconscious. So in order for us to begin to change those programs, we got to get into the operating system. And the only way we do that is we got to slow our brainwaves down in that thinking neocortex. The challenge for most people is they have so many demands in their life. They have so many emotional responses to circumstances in their life that they're living in a state of stress and living in a state of survival. In a state of stress and survival, you don't close your eyes. You got to keep your eye on the ball. You got to keep your attention on the outer environment. So their brains tend to work in a higher brainwave pattern. It's like driving your sports car in first gear. It's a lot of energy for the brain.
So the brain has 5 different patterns: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, theta. And the brain cycles through these while we're awake and asleep. But when you're fully awake and conscious, people, by and large, are almost always stuck in different phases of beta. Low beta, mid beta, high beta. If you're actually paying attention to what I'm saying right now, analyzing it, then you're likely in mid beta phase right now. Everything you're thinking while in this phase is running from your subconscious mind, completely unbeknownst to you. 95% of your mind and of your actions are for the subconscious. So essentially your behavior, your patterns, your responses, them boys are running on autopilot. So that means like when a situation comes up, how you choose to react, process, perceive, all of that is from all that other stuff previously that we just talked about a little bit ago. The major issue, if you're conditioned for negative thoughts and prone to anxiety and prone to stress, is you've effectively let the system to run you instead of you running your particular system. For me personally, there's this side program that's just running in the background that I don't even know about is running, and I can click Control-Alt-Delete and I don't even see it pop. I can't even end task on that guy because I was unaware. So to become aware of and remove the particular software running, one of the major keys towards doing so is removing yourself out of that beta wave pattern so that you can then access your subconscious and begin updating your operating system to take from those programs and get the output that you're specifically looking for and being able to achieve. To do that, entering into the alpha and theta wave patterns can allow you then to recondition your mind effectively. Your brain on alpha waves is a more relaxed and way more receptive to changes. And to enter this pattern, you gotta slow that boy down. When I say that boy, I'm talking about the mind. How I recommend, not even recommend, just try it. Consider it meditation. Find what works for you that slows the mind down and leverage that.
We teach meditation 3 ways. To slow your brainwaves down and get beyond your analytical mind is meditation. And then meditation is really about getting beyond your body, or disconnecting from your body, disconnecting from your environment, and forgetting about time. And that is that eye of the needle where we begin to make the most significant changes. Use science as the contemporary language to demystify that process. You need to give people numerous times to overcome themselves and numerous times to connect. Sooner or later, you'll start watching transformation right before your eyes.
Hey, you. Yes, you. If you want a personal transformation in your life, hit that subscribe button, as I know you'd like to get more game-changing gems on the way like this. So for me, meditation was a major difference. Back in college, I had a very transformative event where I got into trouble with law in respect to reckless driving. In order for me to be able to pass said particular service that I had to go to with regards to the charges and everything, I had to go and see the particular individual. That gentleman impacted my life tremendously. I can remember I was speaking to some young lady at the time, and we got in some type of argument, and I walked into that particular frame because it was my first meeting with this gentleman, and I was feeling some type of way. Not angry, upset, or what have you, but I definitely wasn't on a vibe. The gentleman sat me down, and it was just 5 minutes, literally just 5 minutes. He taught me 2 different ways to be able to meditate. One of them was specifically sitting and realizing breath work, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Another particular frame was lighting a candle and then staring at the particular wick and just focusing your thoughts there. I speak with some people sometimes and they say, hey, I tried meditation and found myself either falling asleep or what have you. If you're one of the types who found yourself falling asleep, I wouldn't recommend the candle. I would recommend the breath work inhale, easy for me, where I'll think of numbers. When I say one, I'll actually think of like one popping up, and I'll think of like two popping up. Helps me to be able to stay present and be able to also float through my breath work very well with regards to quieting my mind to get into meditation. And again, there are different techniques to be able to do this and quiet your mind. Find what works for you and give it time. I meditate daily and have done so for over a decade now. For those of you who may get frustrated whenever you're doing your meditations and you say that, oh, well, it didn't work for me, or you just find my mind racing, understand that your mind will go more often than not, unless you're like Zen. The difference is how long do you allow yourself to have that mind go before you bring it back? When you measure your experience through meditation off of that, it's easier to get less frustrated with the current situation because you're allowing yourself to shorten that gap. And it actually, that manifests itself as well in current frame whenever you're out of the meditation state and you're doing whatever it is out there in the world. Let's say a situation happens, it comes up and you get angry or you get, feeling some type of way with regards to your emotion. That refractory period in terms of like how long you can stay in that particular state of being in that emotion, as you tend to meditate and quiet your mind and becoming more aware of yourself, how you tend to react in certain situations, it shortens and shortens and shortens and shortens. And inevitably it comes to a point where as it comes, you can start to notice the feeling of it coming, and you can dead it before it even starts to show itself in actions that you choose to do. So you probably heard the phrase, perception is reality. But Joe says something that I'm personally a testament to, and that your personality equals your personal reality.
Life is an experiment. So if your personality creates your personal reality, and your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel, if you keep thinking the same way, you keep acting the same way, you keep feeling the same way, your life is going to stay the same because you're the same. So the experiment is, okay, let me begin to think differently. So I got to remind myself how I do want to think, and I have to remind myself of how I no longer want to think, so I don't default and go unconscious. Let me remind myself how I'm going to behave so that I could actually get my behaviors to match my intentions. And let me remind myself of how I'm going to feel. If I'm able to succeed in that day, then there should be some change in my life. It's the experiment. And if it doesn't change, that doesn't mean the law doesn't work for you. It's just you're not that good yet. You just got to keep practicing, right? So the act of disconnecting from your life long enough to remind yourself of who you do want to be and who you no longer want to be, that experiment then is the experiment called life.
By personality, I don't mean your favorite rapper, shout out to my boy J. Cole, or hobbies. No, I'm talking about your personal beliefs, your thought patterns, your emotional responses. Those are what's forming your worldview, and that's what needs to change if you want transformation. So remember earlier on when I said transformation is possible for everyone. A transformation like this is within reach for anyone, no matter where you're at in life right now and where you want to be. I meant it, man. That's because it costs $0 to meditate. You do not have to pay anyone to sit down and go vibe. It costs $0 to update that operating system, and it costs $0 to reprogram yourself. And venture to say, you're actually paying money for you continuing from an opportunity cost standpoint, you continuing to stay in your current frame that you're at, and not manifesting the things that you know you can achieve and should be achieving at this current state. And there's no course to buy for me. I'm not out here trying to sell y'all anything. No speaking seminar, no email list to sign up for. I would like and subscribe though. I'm not gonna stunt on that. If you like the content, like it. If you don't like it, that's cool too. Drop in the comments what you do like, what you don't like, so I can keep dropping stuff that people can resonate with. Inevitably, that's what I'm here to do and what I'm here to at least share. All these things that I suggest, it is not saying, hey, this bang is gonna work for you. All I'm saying is this worked for me. Try it out, truly try that jam out. And if it hits, boom. I'm using all of these same principles in my day-to-day life now to pursue all my goals, financially, fitness, mindset, relationship, all of that. And so I'd like to challenge you guys, for any of you who aren't trying it, any of you who are, please within the comments, drop what worked for you, drop what didn't work for you. And if you find somebody in there who is saying, hey, I want to give this a try, please comment on their particular comment and let's start a little accountability thing. So if one person's like, hey, I got to give this meditation thing a try, or I'm going to try this other thing, which I think might work to achieve this or what have you, you're come in and say, I got you. I'm gonna check back in 7 days, or I'm gonna check back in 14 days, and actually go back and drop that person a comment and be like, hey, how did it work for you? And vice versa. If you see someone who did that, just respond to them and be like, hey, what has been working for you, or are you going to institute this too? And let's keep an accountability check going on here. I mean, I think that'd be live. Like, I haven't really seen that done in a particular fashion on a channel before in any capacity with that. But like, I think that would be love if we had that type of system here. Cause like, inevitably, man, like I may have said something here and you're like, hey, E, that was dope. That's this. Have you tried this? And best believe if I get some heat from y'all in the comments, like the boy will put that in his system. You know what I'm saying? Like, trust. And so, hey man, I love y'all. Like, I appreciate y'all. Like, you could be doing anything in the world right now and you're watching my black on a computer screen or mobile phone or projector, wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. I appreciate that love, and let's go out here and like everything we do, let's give that love back to somebody in some capacity somewhere else. As always,